Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Annie and this is Unity Consciousness. I welcome you to my backyard this morning as we feel a full moon energy today in Aries and then some other configurations over the course of the week that may leave us feeling a little vulnerable. So I thought I would step out in the backyard this morning and produce the video in an environment that allows you to have some healing moments through the course of your day that maybe you can reminisce on over the course of the week. Or perhaps watch this video again. Anyway, settle in and let's start talking about the energy. Today, which is the 9th of October, we have a full moon in Aries. We've talked about this last week's video. This full moon is ruled by Mars. Full moons always bring culminations or endings. It's conjunct Chiron, which is why I really do believe that there's going to be some healing or perhaps feelings of vulnerability that will bring about healing related to this moon, and that will carry us through the next moon configuration, which is actually going to be a new moon eclipse in a couple of weeks. So, in addition, this particular full moon is on the Aries Libra axis, meaning that the theme of this particular full moon and things that need to be let go of has to do with autonomy versus dependence in relationships. We've got Pluto that went stationary direct yesterday, so I'm super excited, Friday, so I'm super excited about that energy, and it is going to be prominent because that planet just changed directions. We also have our Saturn-Uranus square that is in full effect, and we certainly can feel it at the time of this full moon as well as through eclipse season. Again, our themes for this particular full moon and this week are healing, vulnerability, and rest. Now tomorrow, we get through today's full moon, and tomorrow we've got Mercury, which is direct now, is going to re-enter Libra. And because 0 degrees of Libra is the world axis point, just be mindful of things that may appear on the world stage relative to communications, anything that Mercury rules, and the fact that it's re-entering Libra. Aside from that, Mercury it's not up to full speed yet, but we're getting there. It was retrograde from the 25th through the 23rd of October, and then went direct, but it's still not up to full speed. But with Mercury in Libra, we can expect diplomatic and friendly relations. It's very good for negotiations and compromises of any kind. However, I would be mindful with this full moon that we've got in Aries, just be mindful of giving too much of yourself, sacrificing yourself for the sake of something. That also has some deep connection with Chiron and healing and understanding what your importance is. So be mindful of that, especially as Mercury re-enters Libra the day after this full moon in Aries. It is not good for quick decisions. So if you're expecting to make a really fast decision, really snap decision while Mercury is in Libra, probably not going to happen because you're going to weigh your options over and over and over again. As a matter of fact, that's probably a downside of Mercury in Libra, is the weighing of the options for so long you're almost stifled by making a decision. Now, on Wednesday, we've got some complicated energy that I want to discuss because we're going to be feeling this energy 3 times. We've got Mars, which is in Gemini, and it is in retrograde shadow. It hasn't gone retrograde yet, but pre-shadow of that retrograde cycle is going to square Neptune in Pisces. And we've spoken about Neptune in Pisces before and the fogginess or illusionment relative to that. But on that same day, on Wednesday, we've got the Mercury, which is in Libra, is going to be opposite Jupiter in Aries at 1 degree. Again, another world axis point there. Mercury in Libra opposing Jupiter themes are overstating or exaggerating communications, not being able to make a decision and really being stifled in that process. Now, when you've got these energies, these 2 configurations lumped together on the same day, definitely issues with decision making, not quite sure exactly what you want, Mars square Neptune themes can be very draining. You can feel a disappointment on or around this time. And because of this theme, the full moon and Aries theme and the Chiron undertones relative to that, if you are handed a disappointment this week, it's going to be interesting to see how you handle it. Please don't sacrifice yourself in the process. Make sure you stand up for what you truly believe. However, again, temper that, because we've got, Mars, which is in Gemini, is squaring something. So you got to be mindful how you take action. It's best not to speak out too loudly as much as it is being mindful of the self-talk and making sure that you are promoting yourself in the process of this evaluation when you're handed a disappointment. If you're handed a disappointment, it could be that whatever the situation is that has disappointed you was not for you, and there's something better coming along. So take some time out. If you feel this Mars square Neptune, just take some time out and make sure that the communications you have with yourself is very upbeat and positive. Be mindful of patterns that might be emerge. As I mentioned, Mars is going to square Neptune on Wednesday, the 12th, but it's also going to repeat that same square on the 19th of November and then on the 14th of March. So this, to me, screams Mars retrograde cycle themes as well, because it's going to be a repeated pattern during the retrograde cycle. Mars is going to go retrograde, I believe it's on the 30th of this month. So by the time we hit the next Mars square Neptune on the 19th of November, Mars will fully be in that retrograde cycle. And then on the 14th of March, when it makes that third final hit over those same degrees, we're just a day away from from Mars going direct. So I can reassure you that whatever pops up this week, you'll be revisiting 3 more times. There could be some very significant themes with the Mars retrograde cycle relative to Chiron and feeling vulnerable, and what is worth it to us. This leads into the relativity to the Taurus-Scorpio axis nodal shift themes of self-worth. We could be getting some hits, let's just say, proverbial hits to things or disappointments that we set up ourselves for. And now we're just not quite sure how to handle it. And I can reassure you, as I mentioned, through this Mars retrograde cycle, we're going to have 3 opportunities to see how we have progressed during this Mars retrograde cycle, which is just about to commence. I believe on the 30th it goes retrograde and will come out of retrograde on the 12th of January and then stay in shadow till the 15th, like I said, with that final Mars square Neptune on the 14th of March. So very interesting. Also interesting to note, we are almost a solid year into this nodal axis cycle. And so the nodal axis shift will occur next July. And the nodal axis shift is actually where the full moon is right now in Aries. So the nodal axis shift will be a north node of Aries and a south node of Libra. So also be mindful of this full moon themes, not relative to the other conjunctions or the other configurations with other planets, but just those feelings of autonomy versus dependence, and recognize that axis will be shifting to a more global theme relative to everybody in next July and running until January of 2025, I believe, 23 through 2025. So that's all I have for you this week. We do have a lot going on. Because we're talking about healing and vulnerability, take time to rest, take time to heal. Make sure you put yourself first when it comes to self-care. I think that's very, very important, especially this time of year. Let me reframe that. This time of season, this time of eclipse season, when we're getting ready to let go of things that no longer line up, and we are still in the evaluation process of what we think we need to let go of, and certainly today's full moon in Aries is helping us with that. So I did pick a card for today, and the card for today is, let's see if I can hold it, 4 of Swords. I love this card. This is the Light Seers Tarot deck. And this card speaks, if you can, I mean, I just absolutely love it. It does speak about vulnerability and taking time out. This person has decided it's time to take a rest, take a break, step away. Her heart is on a string, if you'll notice, and it's intertwined within the nest that she finds herself in. And that tells me that heart-centered consciousness is what we need to get back to if we're starting to feel a little bit vulnerable. What I'd like to do is read what the book says that came along with this deck, because I think it would be helpful for me to read this and for you to hear those words. A time of deep rest, transmutation of shadow, healing from burnout, taking a brief holiday from your reality, renewal, and self-love. I give myself permission to slow down and heal. I give myself permission to slow down and heal. I give myself permission to slow down and heal. Well, thank you so much. It's something I have to point out. I don't know if you can see him, but up in the tree right here at the end of my finger, there is a bald eagle. We have a pair of nesting eagles in our backyard, and he has so eloquently, or she has so eloquently shown us how to get into our eagle's perch and observe from high above until we get clarity and we can move forward once again. That's what eclipse season is all about, folks. I hope you have a fabulous week. If you like this video, please do click the like button. If you know someone that could be helped by this video, please do share it with them. And if you would like to post a comment, I will get back to you ASAP. Comments, suggestions are always welcome on this channel. I'm so glad you stopped by. Have a fabulous week. Namaste.